This is the National COASTWATCH Institution, and what we do here is we use our eyes to check what's going on in the sea. If there is anybody in trouble, any distress from ships or other vessels, we can respond. We will call for help, we will raise a lifeboat, and we can also call the Coast Guard. Our main reason for being here is to provide safety for the public. We don't go into the water, we stand here, we watch. We use our eyes, we use binoculars, and we use telescope. We also monitor a radio frequency and can assist the lifeboat to guide them onto a casualty who is stuck in the sea. The reason we are here is because in the 1990s, the National Coast Guard Agency stopped using visual watches of the sea, and people did no longer look out at the sea, but relied completely on radios for distress. A month after they closed down one of the stations in a county called Cornwall, a fishing vessel sank, and the two people that were on board the fishing vessel drowned. They were killed. This was only 1 month after the Coast Guard closed down the lookout. The local people were very concerned, and what they did was to get together and form a group of volunteers. The volunteers got together and created the National COASTWATCH Institute. And what we did from there is that around the country now there are 53 COASTWATCH stations such as ours, all manned by volunteers, no payment. We don't get any money for doing this. We do a watch. There are 3 watches every day, starting from 9 o'clock in the morning until 12 o'clock in midday. The next watch is 12 o'clock in midday until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And the last watch is the sea watch, which is 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 6 o'clock in the evening. We close down then and come back the next day. But we are here 365 days a year. In the watch, we have 2 watchkeepers. We wear a uniform, as you can see, so we can be recognised by the public and we can be recognised by the other emergency services. 2 of us will continue to maintain the watch and then conduct a handover. And I think one of the most important things to explain to anybody who's watching this video is that this is something which is growing. We now have over 60 people within our own station who help us to maintain a watch. And that's just roughly what we do generally. We also educate the public as well. We have a new lookout tower which is just being built, and that is for completion in July. We will also have a visitor centre, so anybody can come in and use interactive screens to see exactly what we do. There are different ways to communicate. The most important one we have is word of mouth, and we have a telephone to contact emergency services and Coast Guard. but we also monitor a frequency using this radio here, which is a marine radio, and listens for all the channels. This radio here is the emergency channel, channel 16, and that is the distress channel that people can contact on. And there's another radio here which is for the channel 65, which is our own channel we can use if necessary. But we can use the radio to communicate with the lifeboat if it's out there and needs assisting to find a casualty. If we leave the lookout tower and go somewhere to check something, we take these handheld radios with us, so as we're always in contact and communication. And in our lookout, the proper lookout, because this is only temporary, we also have a radar for which we can see further out to sea. Okay, we have various methods of being able to locate an individual. If we see something going on at sea and we are concerned about it, we identify the distance that it is away in nautical miles, and then we work out the exact position. And we do that using this particular device here, which is called a spotting scope, which will give us a bearing for the vessel. So we see a vessel over there, we look at it through this eyepiece, and then we see on here is an arrow, which will tell us that it is 170 degrees. Okay. I've now found my vessel and I've worked out where it is. It is 1 nautical mile at 150 degrees true. I now need to make sure I get the coordinate in latitude and longitude, latitude being this one, longitude being down this way on this axis. Once I've done that, I then work out where it is by marking exactly where it is, and I can then quote that this is at 50 degrees 30.30 minutes north, 003 degrees 22.60 minutes west. So then that coordinate can be passed on to the Coast Guard, who will then relay the information to the lifeboat, who will also have a radar on board and can direct themselves onto the casualty. If necessary, we will be able to use our binoculars and our telescope to be able to guide the lifeboat to the casualty by keeping a close eye on its location, because quite often if there is a person in the sea, the waves, an individual will go down into the trough of the wave, the lifeboat won't be able to see them. Whereas we have the height, we will be able to keep visual on that particular individual and ensure that we can guide the lifeboat onto the casualty. In a vessel, and is making sure that we record that vessel, and we have a pictorial display to show what the vessel looks like. That is the code that we use relating to the vessel. We also look at to see whether the vessel is a merchant vessel or if it's a leisure vessel. So we record those, and then we record the colour, and that's all put down into a logbook, which you can see over there, which Doug is completing. So if a vessel is a commercial vessel, it begins with a C. If it's a leisure vessel, it begins with an L. Glyn. Glyn Laverack.
Oh, thank you, Glyn.
You're very welcome, Conrad. It's been very nice to have met you.
Thank you. Oh, very nice, very interesting for me to hear the special details of your work. Thank you so much.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much indeed. Bye-bye.